Public persona depends on a perception of wealth. Try not to roll your eyes here for a moment. The real estate billionaire who managed to turn a small loan of $1 million into a sprawling empire before giving it all up to run for president. It's a rags to riches story. Not so much based in reality, though, but today it is clear his self-inflicted financial situation certainly is. Donald Trump, who is, as you know, world-renowned for the ability to keep his cool, has spent the better part of his last 24 hours fuming on social media. Remember, we learned he was unable to get a bond to secure the $464 million civil fraud judgment against him and his co-defendants in the alleged fraud case brought by New York Attorney General Letitia James. Trump's got until Monday to pay up in full, or the Attorney General could begin collecting while he appeals, a process that could include the seizure of assets, including his buildings. So Trump's aimed his social tirades like a fire hose at the state of New York, at Judge Arthur Engoron, and at the Attorney General, Letitia James, calling her racist and politically corrupt. On the prospect of losing his buildings, quote, "I would be forced to mortgage or sell great assets, perhaps at fire sale prices, and if and when I win the appeal, they would be gone." We're back with Andrew and Katie. Andrew, first off, explain what Trump is actually afraid of there and what we should expect going forward over the next couple of days should he remain unable to secure a bond.
Sure. Well, first, the brief that he submitted to the court is seeking to have the court lower the amount of the bond that he would have to put up. So he doesn't have to put up $464 million or have a company put a bond up for that. So either put up the cash yourself or get a company to put up the bond. So he could get a court to agree that the amount should be lower. His argument, though, makes no sense. What he says is, I don't have that amount of cash on hand. Even though he had said that he had about $400 million previously, he now apparently doesn't have any cash that he can put up. But he says, all I have is real estate, and the companies that I can go to put up a bond don't want real estate. They want cash as collateral. That doesn't explain why he just doesn't get a mortgage. If he really has unencumbered real estate, just get a mortgage like many, many, many people do when they buy homes and put that money up. So there's a real disconnect in his papers, and what it suggests to me is that he doesn't actually have unencumbered real estate. In other words, the real estate that he has already been pledged to other people and other companies to support other loans. Otherwise, there's an easy out here. His papers really don't make sense. What can happen is, remember, the judgment that was entered against him was actually enforceable on the day it was entered, but the Attorney General, as a matter of grace, and it's pretty common, gave the defendant 30 days, gave Donald Trump 30 days to put the bond up or put the money up. And that is to make sure that during the appeal, the plaintiff is protected so that the money can't be dissipated. It will be there when this is litigated, and if there's a decision that affirms the judgment, the money is there in the court to satisfy the amount. And so at the end of that 30 days, which is on the 25th, this Monday, the liens can go out by the Attorney General for all assets, whether they're encumbered or not. She can put liens on bank accounts, cash accounts, securities accounts, real estate, and then she can seek an order of enforcement to for all the unencumbered assets that have not been pledged. She can seek to have the title of that transferred to her. If she cannot find all of that assets, if she thinks there's more out there, the other thing she can do is she can seek to have depositions taken of everyone up to and including the former president to find out where any and all assets are that can be used to satisfy the judgment. And all of that can happen starting on Monday.
Wow, it's incredible. There's a part of this I also wanted to ask you about, Andrew, which is something in reference to what Michael Cohen, Trump's former fixer, had to say. Obviously, he was a key figure in the civil lawsuit, but let me play for you what he said yesterday, and I'll get your reaction to it.
What if hypothetically the money is coming from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar? What if by chance it's coming through a backdoor channel of Russia? It leaves a presidential candidate basically owing a foreign entity all at the expense of America's national security. This is no joke.
Let's say Trump does come up with this money for the bond ahead of Monday's deadline. Andrew, will the American people get to see where it came from? Will there be transparency? Is that required, the visibility of where that money originated from?
It is not required. And the same issue came up also in the E. Jean Carroll case when a bond was put up there. And so the issue of whether somebody is fronting the money to the former president, whether somebody, for instance, is co-signing a bond. In other words, who is he beholden to? Whether, it's a foreign person, whether it's an American person, doesn't really matter. That is something that the electorate would have a keen interest in knowing. Because, to be somewhat snarky about it, if it is coming from another person, then the former president and candidate for office might have 464 million reasons to do what that person wants. And so that issue of is he beholden to somebody is going to become, quite salient as a political matter. But in terms of the plaintiffs here, all they're interested in is the money there in case I win. I want to make sure that on appeal, I'm not taking the risk that there's no money there. So they're not that concerned about who fronted the money. They just want to know that that pot of money is there.
Katie, let me pick up on something that Andrew said about securing the funds and why Trump can't do it. And I want to read you something that the Washington Post columnist Catherine Rampell wrote. She writes, imagine you sold someone a glass engagement ring that you claimed was a real diamond. Then, when a judge found you liable for fraud, you tried to use the diamond ring as collateral for an appeal bond. That's the level of chutzpah we are working with here. I mean, explain to us why Donald Trump is finding himself in such financial trouble right now.
That's a beautiful thing that Catherine just put forth. So Trump is having a problem because he went to trial on the basis that he overinflated or underinflated his assets to be able to secure a better result for himself. And the judge in that instance, Justice Engoron, said, I agree with you, New York Attorney General Letitia James. You have proven your case. I have found fraud to have been perpetrated by Donald Trump, his adult sons, other members of his organizations, as well as his businesses. So to Catherine's point in the Washington Post piece, why would you, if you are a bond surety company, if you are a lender, like a legitimate, up and up lender, why would you even believe anything in terms of the valuation of a Donald Trump asset when he tries to come with you and say, I'm going to give this to you as collateral? One, we have confirmed at MSNBC that Donald Trump has mortgages on all of these properties like Trump Tower, Trump Doral, Mar-a-Lago that mature anywhere from 2024 to 2048. So these assets, these real properties are already leveraged. They are already mortgaged. They already have lien holders that are saying you owe me first, right? Why would you ever want to use that property as collateral to loan money? The man was always a credit risk, but now he's unbankable. He now has a bond surety of $100 million that he owes if he loses that appeal in the E. Jean Carroll case. He doesn't have the liquidity when it comes to cash because these bond sureties, as we know through the affidavits that were done from Donald Trump's filing yesterday, they said we went to all of these bond sureties and they said, no, we want cash or cash equivalent. But we also found out that in Florida, a Charles Schwab account was used to be able to collateralize the Chubb surety bond that was done for E. Jean Carroll. Trump is running out of options, and that is why Monday looms so heavy on him. That's why you're seeing him lashing out on Truth Social. Right. That's why you see, though, a dearth of people willing to come forward to give him money, because he is not a good credit risk, A. And to your question and to the point that Andrew just raised, there won't be the transparency of who gave him the money or who co-signs on it, which is horrific, because I don't know, weren't we just talking about Mar-a-Lago? Weren't we just talking about the fact that the man had classified documents in his possession that he wrongfully and illegally retained, that we don't know to whom he sold, to whom he showed, to whom he gave access, maybe for cash? The man is a quid pro quo guy. He's totally transactional.
And certainly
right?
could
and
weaponize.
Exactly.
If it makes you feel any better, I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that.
General, I can assure you.
At Chaco, coming into the war room decision.
you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, when is it not, please? Okay, couple of things. I'm running low on the dough. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And, oh yeah, I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I'll assume that we're good on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
The Megatron.
This was just a diversion. Security, make bring up. Rabbit, she's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. What's readiness? What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We're facing a heavy sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark. General Order! General Order! Need this immediately, General. Evacuate. Hold on. National security evacuate. Stand down. Check it out. This group that failed their mission celebrations. The amateurs for suicide mission.